saw would have come directly over us like the other ones did. So I take them to a better vantage point, because at the time when we went out there, my plan was to keep tracking these guys further in. Now you only have water by the river. There's no other water out there. And when you go hiking, you can't carry more than two or 3 gallons of water per guy, with anything you need. So it's almost impossible to go into a spot that doesn't have water. So I pitched a camp at an old ranger station that the only thing that left there is like a third of a chimney. There's not one board, there's nothing, but it was an old ranger station at one time. I opened a chair, a folding chair, and had them sit in a folding chair, and I pointed at a hill that was about 200 yards away from us. And I said, you see that hill right there? I said, now the spaceships come over that hill and go right in front of this mountain. And right over there, off the mountain, is where my other camp was. Now, the first night, sat in there 2 or 3 hours in the chair, nothing. Well, the next night, 6th hour in the chair, here comes a spaceship, right over the mountain. You can hit it with a slingshot. Comes over the hill, goes right in front of the mountain, and goes out. Now, this is the spaceship that was shaped like a boomerang, that had the lights on it. This is the one that they filmed in Phoenix, the news media. Filmed in Phoenix. All right? That was the exact one that I've seen, that we saw that day. So now, because it's only like, boom, 6 hours in the chair, this guy thinks, hey, we don't have to go anywhere. This is going to be right here. This is it. You know, we're in the spot. This is the freeway. They're coming and going. But this was the exact spot. I opened a chair and put him in, because I know what's going on out there. Now, I couldn't put you in a chair 4 years later and point and say, hey, come over that hill, and they do if I don't know what I'm talking about. All right. Now, one thing has to be pointed out, that whenever, like with the big black one, when it went by, well, the next night it came by, which means it returned. So if you'd been up all night with a big camera, you'd be able to film this stuff. I never had anything more than a little bitty camera, and all we got was black screen. You could hear us all just going, me and the guy going on and on about the spaceship that just went by. I mean, so we have this, know for a fact that there's spaceship out there. I know for a fact all this stuff. Well, now, since that time, I've gone out there, let me see, 2.5 years ago, and this is 2007 now, so we're looking at end of 2007, so we're looking at almost 18 years from the first time I was out there. Now, when I was out there after the first time, I would tell friends and everything that I knew that I would be destined to film these aliens, to release it to the public, that would be their coming out party, so to say. Because I always felt spiritually connected, that I could use the gospel of Christ, which is the Father of God and the brotherhood of man. I could use, by me saying these things before I film these people, then you would believe other things that I might have to say about the true gospel of Jesus Christ and all the other things that we're missing here on earth. All right, so 2.5 years ago, I went out there with 5 guys, 5 friends. We're going out there. Not one of them had the spirituality of a smart dog. All right? And it's probably my shortcoming. I ended up paying for most of the trip, and these guys, you know, they just be drinking. Another guy had prescriptions for pills because he was a whack job, and it got really bad. One guy we were out there for 6 weeks. We could not get back into the area. The closest we got was 5 miles from the area we had to be at, and we were parked 10 or 12 miles from the area. Was as close as a vehicle could get to it this time. I couldn't get in there. The guys were fighting. One guy took a gun, tried to kill everybody. Another guy got snake bit, had his foot cut off after we rushed him to the hospital and stuff. He was in the hospital 4 months before they cut his foot off. Well, then a year ago, me and 2 other friends, we went in there. This time we had a helicopter ready to do a water drop on top of this mountain. It was a perfect location to film all the comings and goings of the UFOs and to prove that our government is in cahoots with them and all that other stuff. It's right there. It's easy to, it's nothing. All right, so we're 400 feet away. The chopper's coming in. The guy gets lost. We sent up there to get to the top of the hill, dropped the supplies, and he went up there. He got lost. He had the satellite phone, the GPS, the shotgun. He had everything. He got lost. Never saw him again. Bam. They did a war. They dropped all our water, all our food, our tents. They dropped everything off. Where, we don't know, because the guy got lost. So he had to get rescued out of there, and then we hiked out of there. So it was another trip. This time I got within 400 feet of my objective. But all it is another test, another hurdle to see if you're committed. There's been nobody turned down any UFOs yet. No one sat down with any of these aliens yet and said, here they are. Even though there's been numerous governments and many people who have worked with these aliens and done all these things with these aliens. These aliens have the power just to wipe your mind clean and let you retain anything, only what they want you to retain. They've kept control a really long time. All this gives me is a platform to tell you about the gospel of Christ, which is 2 sentences, his entire gospel. I haven't been to a church since I was 13. I belong to no religious organization whatsoever. The gospel of Christ is the fatherhood of God and the brotherhood of man. And by the brotherhood of man means that all humans are pregnant with a spirit that's never been born. And when that spirit is born, it is an infant spirit, but then we become of the same family for eternity. So what he wanted you to do here is to live like brothers. Regardless that you won the sperm lottery and you were born to a white family in affluent America, you think you should live better than your brothers? Because your IQ is higher than your brothers, you think your brothers should be in a doghouse while you're in a mansion? There is no togetherness. Well, anyway, that's another story. The spirituality part's another story. I just want to tell about the UFOs. I understand their agendas. They know Christ is coming back here. They have the time machine. Our government has the time machine. I stood behind 2 scientists in Santa Barbara, California in 1985 waiting for the post office. They were from the Brookings Institute. They were talking about this time machine. But they could send things in and all that stuff, but they didn't know how to get them back or where they were sending it to. But in 22 years, you don't think they figured that out? Then you're mistaken. They've had verification of when Christ is coming back.